sure both devices are where I can see clearly. Shem Yahav Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who is catching this message. It's time for a party. Today's party is called, or actually today's party is brought to you by Ground Floor Intellect. I'll tell you what the party's called in a moment. We get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss ethics in entrepreneurship. We've got 10 different special interest groups that we speak on. They each have their own day. We've made it to the 5th day out of a 2-week session, bi-weekly. We just keep on, we keep the whole thing going, right? For each of the 10 special interest groups, there's a certain perspective and focus. This focus comes from looking at organic marketing strategies. With Ground Floor Intellect, now I gotta look it back up to see what it was. I just saw it. Shame on me. I just saw it. Basically, with Ground Floor Intellect, what you're looking at is a perspective that most people would say is outside of the box. We are beyond that because there is no box. The person that tells you that there's a box, then they're just giving you an excuse to say, oh, look at how brilliant this person is. They're outside of it. No, there's no box to begin with. Let's get that in mind right now. There's no box to begin with. So even when they tell you that you're boxed in life and you're imprisoned and all of that, I'm not saying that part is not true. However, that's a certain perspective. And I'm not talking about the person that's still wearing a jumpsuit behind bars talking about we're not imprisoned. That's not what I'm saying. When someone takes your right away, that means you gave it to them. When someone takes your free will away, unless you have made some kind of infraction against society and they read you your rights and put some handcuffs on you, then you are supposed to retain your free will. Your free will and your free thinking, your moments and movements in life, we all have standards. That's what ethics are. So since I can't find my notebook right now that I could flip to the page, you all know how long it takes for me to do that because of all the notebooks. As a matter of fact, it's being a prop and a stand behind the phones right now, so I'm not moving stuff around. We're gonna move forward. I'm pausing long enough to go ahead and acknowledge everyone who's coming to the room, and then we're gonna get this party started. I am waiting for a few familiar faces. We'll start over here in TikTok land. Jermaine Tarver, Rudy, Hector C 541, Bienvenuto, Akati Michelle Moss, Kyla Chanel. Who we got over here? 'Cause we got some people over here in YouTube land that decided they wanted to come into the comment section and throw propaganda. There's no box, and your propaganda promotes the box. So if there's no box, your propaganda stands on nothing. Here we go. Dan O'Mac, Trey, Eric Johansson, Smart Simple, BBB, Beer Tuber, Amin Huskik, Hashem Yahav Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy for everyone who has tuned into this party. Where I'm from, I'm supposed to greet everyone with the greatest greeting ever, no matter how they approach me, no matter what's on their mind. And I'm not just saying words, I am saying what my mission, my message, and my deen is. It does not change. Master D Star, I've seen you here before. Victoria Bale, Michael, HDGXKSB, bienvenido. Akshem Yahab Alahim, Shalom Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, Warahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you all. So let's address some of these snide comments that have been coming in on YouTube land. And I might play a song, and then we're going to start this party, because some of you all, you didn't get the memo on what ground floor intellect is, because we've been discussing it since the first of the year, since the first of spring. Some of you didn't get the memo. Christine Garrett, Hashem Yahav Alahim, Shalom Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I see you was just kidding. It don't matter. Your first intentions are what comes out of your mouth. Now, after that, whatever response you get, you have to stand on that just as much as you made the statement. So Dan O'Mac says, can't stop Trump. Greetings to Trey. Eric Johansson, how old am I? There was darkness, there was light, something happened, and then there was dirt. I'm younger than light and older than dirt. Hey, have you robbed any gas stations lately? That's from BBB. The question about how old I was, that was Eric Johansson. BBB wants to know if I've robbed any gas stations lately. Who are you to assume that I've robbed any gas stations at all? Who are you to assume that I even go to gas stations? Ask a question with a question, because I have a few queries. So if you want to play 20 questions with me, I'll put some on the table for you. All right? Let's see here. Greetings, Eric Johansson. I see you. Smart Simple. What is my name? The channel says Angelic Discipline. We're going to start there. Beto Serra, I know you. It's very tabah to have you here. Hashem Yahav Alahim, Shalom Barak. Desi Preston Washing, Christine Garrett. Hashem Yahav Alahim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon each and every one of you. Thank you for coming to the party. Greetings to you, Beer Tuber. Greetings, 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 greetings. Smart, simple. Eric Johansson, thank you for the compliment. Jazakallah. May several blessings come back to you from our Father in return. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises to our source of mercy and sustenance. Amen. Eric Johansson, what do you get if you subscribe? Well, if you also click the notifications box, you will get the chance to be able to receive notifications when I'm actually posting a regular community post on YouTube, or if I'm uploading a video, a short, or if I'm going live, and so on and so forth. You will also be able to see other people who are subscribing to the channel. That's a start. And thank you for subscribing, whether you do or you don't. It's one of those things where actually, if I looked in my channel analytics, 70% of my viewers are not subscribers, and I don't expect you to be my subscriber. You know, some people actually do pay attention to what a person says, and they go ahead and subscribe because they want to get all involved in it, while other people just kind of have you over to the wayside. And then there's people who subscribe and then they never show up again. So that's the benefits of having a subscription to a channel. It also gives me the chance to be able to at least go back and see who is subscribing to the channel, and then I can go back and look up your channel. And then we can actually be in communication. Because after these live broadcasts are done, we don't get to see the actual comments that are going on. Yes, the recording will be there, the actual imagery and the sound and everything. However, these typed written posts are not there, except for whenever I actually speak back with you. So if you subscribe, then we have the chance to maintain communication regardless. And yes, I'll be able to find you and correspond. Amin Huskik. Say hi to me, please. Atshema, Atshem, Yehav Alahim. Shalom Barak. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To you specifically, our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ameen. All praises to our source of sustenance and mercy. Smart Simple has a question. What is MAANNEJ? Go ask Chingo Bling, he might know. Popular, and then you can come and meet me tomorrow at home and Nevins. Namaste. I can't see you. Are you coming back to you? Are you coming? With all of that word jumble, I had a couple of things in there, Smart Simple, that made a little bit of sense, but since it's all just running together, none of it makes sense. Yo, and this is still Smart Simple. Yo, I was just kidding. Me know when I was just kidding. Me know when I was just kidding. Me know when I was just a person that likes to play. And if you didn't know, there's also robot profiles where someone generates word prompts to send out a message. The message may be jumbled. It's a message because it is something being conveyed and expected to be received. Now, whether it makes sense or if it's the same logic as the person who receives it is what would make it a successful attempt. Now, at this point, there are a lot of factors of who we could be dealing with right now. ASB Mix VR. Hashem Yahav Alahim, Shalom Barak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. ASBMIXVR says, NGL, not gonna lie, you look like Snoop Dogg. ASBMIXVR, you need to go get LASIX because virtual reality has been messing with your vision. There's nothing about me that looks like Snoop. Let's see here, Smart Simple. And I haven't forgot about you, TikTok land. I see there's some new people coming in. Alaskan Native. It's very Taba to have you here. Very Taba. Salute. Hashem Yahav Alahim, Shalom Barak. Allahu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. Smart Simple is back. Hi, sir. Good morning, sir. Today, I can't do kick-ups and Nevin's number of the day, dear sir, I can't do. Miguel Sirios. Bienvenidos. El says, hi, how are you? Doing great. Thank you for coming in. El, Rendra, Miguel, Cierilos, um, Rendra, PP official. Nehemiah Piniero, bienvenidos. Dude YT. And over here, let's see who we got. Shy. Net, Janice Jones, Tasha J, LW Ladybug, familiar name. Big Daddy, that's a familiar name. Angelica Davis, 11. Corey Cummings, 6. Kat and Jen, that seems like a familiar name. Cedel, Sybil Pickard, Legions, Eddie Meadows, 8. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak to all of you. Allahu Wassalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. El, of course, Clerical C. Nehemiah Pinheiro asks, you believe in Jesus, mate? Or do I believe in Jesus, for that matter? That name's been floating around for quite a while. Stick around for just a moment. You'll find out my stance on quite a few things, because we're about to get the party started. So don't go anywhere if you haven't yet. Don't go anywhere. I'll answer that question, all right? What's up, K-Tal? Rendra PP official asks if I'm a Muslim. I'll give you the same answer that my brother Ak Mad Trucker would tell you. I am what you see. I don't know your definition of a Muslim or anything else, so I'm not gonna just affirm to that. I know who I am and I know what walk I'm on. So give me just a moment and you will see. Hugh Apocalypse. Gotta love a pun. Gotta love a pun. Suspect band. Ashen Yahaba Alahim. Shalama Barak. Allahu Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you all. Suspect band says, is there anyone in chat that can declare they have made it? You realize you made it because you have God to hold on to. Hold that thought in mind, right? I made it. Now I'm better, so much better. Rendra PP official. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum assalam. I'm from Indonesia. Greetings, peace to you. L, yes, tell them. Claro que sí, bonbon. All right. If that's the case. I did say I was going to play a song, however, the computer isn't quite booted up to where I need it to be. It's just at the opening screen. Where am I from? Sagittarius 2. I'm from the green throne room, the emerald green throne room. Nina 53057. Hashem Yahweh Elohim. Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you, your families, and your circles. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. We seek the protection of our Father against shaitan and the evil ways while we travel along the deen. We recite surah, songs, and sing praise to become nearer with our Creator. This is Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Istina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim ghayril maghdubi alaihim Willard Dolim Amin. In the name of our Father, the most merciful, the most compassionate, Lord over all worlds, creator of our deen, the divine path, the most merciful, the most compassionate. We ask you to forgive us when we disobey like others have done in the past. We ask you to teach us how to forgive others and our families out, others and ourselves. Teach us to forgive the way that you forgive us. Thank you for providing the path, the deen. I mean, it is said once we leave this realm that we call life, each one of us will have our own turn to speak with the Creator, and our Creator will ask us, have you heard Al-Fatiha? If you've been listening for the last 2 or 3 minutes, yes, you have. You've heard it in both English and you've heard it in Farsi. You're welcome to go to Quran.com. That's Quran.com. Quran.com. There you will be able to see each and every surah from the Quran written in Farsi and also in English. You'll be able to tap a button and hear it spoken in Farsi. Now, why do I say Farsi instead of Arabic? Because an Arab is a nomad, and there are many types of nomads on this globe. Arabic is nomadic ways, the cultures of a nomad. Not every nomad speaks Farsi, nor is their culture Farsi. Well, what's Farsi? Persian. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. In the TikTok room, those who would want to join in the quest, join in the walk, join in the divine path. It's not about joining in and saying you're a fan of my channel. It's saying that you have chosen to be part of the Sahaba. The Sahaba are the promise keepers. Those who have said, La ilaha illallah. There is no one worthy of worship except Allah. No one. Well, who is Allah? Allah, Allahu, Elohim, Lord over all worlds. Who is Yahweh? Our Creator, our Father, Abba, our source of sustenance. The greatest Rabbi, the greatest teacher, Rabbi Khirli. Our greatest Rabbi, the Lord over all worlds, is the only one worthy of praise. Now, that the semblance of those letters, G-O-D, that replaces a same term called deity. Now, if you look it up in a dictionary, it's going to tell you God, term meaning Zeus, also replaced for the father of those who are Abrahamic principles. That's a lie. God is not a term that you can place next to Elohim, Yahweh. It's not the same. That's a lie. The word Jesus or Jesus is not the same as Yahshua HaMashiach. It's not the same as even Isa. Jesus does not mean that. Now, Jesus is a term that goes right along with the term God. Because like I said, when you look up the definition, it says God. What is God? Zeus. Give me a second. We're going to get there. Coffee. Water. Coffee. And this is actually assigned to you. Because when it's about right here is where I start my water. And if I pour up some coffee, it gets to there. This is about 4 cups of coffee. And we're about right here. Okay? Akati Mavis, I saw you. Just haven't had a chance to stop and acknowledge you. It's very Tabata to have you here. Cebu Picker, Legions, Eddie Meadows 8, I think I said what's up to you already. Nina, 53057, looks familiar. Max Basinger, Kati Mavis, The Warrior 50, The Fifth Principal, Nancy Wise, 628. Pro Kobe Dank, Kati Deborah, I see you. It's very Tabata to have you here. Top GT 888. Hashem Yahav Alahim Shalom Ad Barak Allahu Assalamu Alaikum Wa Rahmatullahi Wa Barakatuh. Alright, we're gonna finish going through the comment section. However, I want you all to know something before I even get started. This is not, hey, we found a guru. Let's go ask him a million questions. No. I already have an addendum. There's already a mission and a message that must be conveyed. And if you haven't noticed, most of those questions that you're asking me are outside of the deen, outside of the divine path. I want you to start thinking before you start asking somebody something. Ask yourself, is this in context to the room I just walked into? Did I open up my own room and invite people to come in to find out what it is I'm talking about? Because last time I checked, I'm the host of this party. And I'm the vessel of the main host. So if you want to come in asking 1,000 questions, there's 2 things that could happen. I could acknowledge you or I could ignore you. Because we do have an agenda already. Sunday through Friday, we get together to talk about ethics and entrepreneurship. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So no, I can't spend all of the time talking about things that don't have anything to do with ethics and entrepreneurship. Now, the reason why I am addressing these questions is because that word ethics means, what is your standard? That person has a great work ethic. What is their standards with their work? Now, if you weren't listening, then you may have missed the fact that my standards are based on Quran, the criterion, what you would call the Bible, and the Apocrypha. That's the standards. And where I'm from, there's actually 7 families that received the book. I've only named 2 or 3 of the families in the books. That's what we're here about. And the title of today's party is Ground Floor Intellect. When was the last time you went and applied for an occupation? And I'm not talking about looking up monster jobs. I'm talking about walking into an actual place of business that provides a service or a product and you walk in and you say, "Hi, I would like to apply my skills in trades. Who do I need to talk to?" When was the last time you've done that? Because when you did, you walked into the ground floor. Who's got their handy dandy notebooks out? So you don't understand. When I step in front of everybody, this is classes in session. That's why I'm not hiding my face. The words that come out of my mouth, I stand on them. And if I'm incorrect, you are welcome to come tell me that I am incorrect. If I am correct and it's something that you have not been doing within your own life, I suggest Selah. Think about it and then change your ways. Because we're rocking and rolling on a boat. We've been rocking and rolling since before the electric guitar. We've been rocking and rolling on boats since before that boat that nobody wants to talk about. We were already on boats. We were out traveling, visiting, and casting nets. What does it mean to look at organic marketing strategies from the perception using ground floor intellect? That's what we're here for today. Now, all this other extra stuff that's coming in and people asking questions, there's a song and a video that I've done. It's called I Don't Entertain Little Demons. Little demons like to distract you from off of the divine path. And if you try to pull me off the divine path, you're not going to like the headbutt you get. And don't call me a goat. I'm not a goat. I don't entertain little demons. And I'm not talking about some little figure running around with red skin and horns coming out the top of their heads. No, I'm talking about dimensionals, crossing dimensions. If I walk from one room and go to the next room, I'm leaving a dimension, going into another. So when you walk into this digital room and you are expressing communication, we're either together or you are a distraction. Now, there's been all kinds of text scrolling through over here, so I gotta make something real plain and simple. I want you all to go and look up Melchizedek, and then look up Malachi Zadok. Some would call me Abdullah Maliki Safar. Maliki Zadok is who I walk with. That's why it's part of my name. Abdullah Maliki Safar is my name. That's my Shem. That's my authority. That means every waking moment, that's who I am and that's what I do. I have the gift of having lucid dreams. That means that even when I'm asleep, that's who I am. That's what I do. Is that understood? Because we're about to move forward. I'm not going to go back and scroll and answer a bunch of questions. I saw what was on the screen. No, I'm not a speed reader, but I saw enough to what was going on. So prayerfully that answers your question. Questions. And by the way, I'm going to say this and then we're going to move forward. It takes 3 things to pray. Think about it inwardly, speak it out, and then you get active and start doing something to move towards the answer of that prayer. Ground floor intellect. You've walked up to a building, and on the front of it, you see HHS, Highest Heights Studio. Now, a person who has decided that they want to apply themselves to find an occupation, and they've sought out a particular group or organization that fits well with what they do. They know this because they've actually done some background research before they show up to this place, talking about they want to put in an application. So in front of this building is HHS. What does that mean? Highest Heights Studio. Now, why would I be going to a studio? And what kind of place is this? I don't know how to run a camera. I don't know how to run a microphone. I'm not somebody who writes scripts and things like that. Well, that's because you have a tunnel vision. You haven't looked at what all could be done with a studio. Excuse me. You haven't looked at what all could be done within Highest Heights. Now, if you do your research, you'll find out that Highest Heights Studio is an umbrella, meaning it's a covering for several businesses, organizations. So if there's Highest Heights Studio, that means that there's some kind of way for there to be communications outside of that studio for the people in the public or private sector could actually be able to pick up on what these services and products are. This group, this organization, claims to be a studio. Now, anybody can say, oh yeah, I'm a studio, I'm a label, I'm a this, I'm a that, put a name on it and get in front of everybody and say it. Yeah, I started this and I do this, and sure. Is it registered? Is it covered by copyright? Do you know the difference between a copyright and a trademark? Do you know which one you actually need? Because you need one in order to get the other. So do you know what you need? Even if all you've done is given it a name and you haven't registered it yet, can people find you? How many people can find you? Where will they find you? Have you ever walked into a place of business and said, I would like to apply my skills and bring services and products? Who do I need to speak with? Have you done that? Have you ever had somebody meet you when you walk through that front door and say, how may I be of service to you? And then you tell them, oh, I want to extend my services. And then they ask you, okay, well, what is it that you do? Now you have an option. You see, you could have a prepared work that you can say, okay, well, here's a synopsis of what I do. We call it a resume. Shall we resume? Or you could spend that time getting to know this first person that you've met when you walk through the door, telling them a synopsis of what you do. You ever walked into a place of business and listened to what the music was being played in the welcoming lobby? You ever hear what's going on? You know, most people call it elevator music. Or it might be some kind of soft sounds or maybe some pop tunes, but not the ones that are too risque. What if you walked into the welcoming lobby and you're hearing a band called DRI, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, and they're going off, and it's not turned way low. And the person who's supposed to greet you when you walk through the door, oh, he's kicked back, hat low, doing this, feet up, chilling. You walk up, and then he acknowledges you because you actually got within his circle of space. Then he greets you. How can I help you? Now, whether you're questioning what's going on with the music or not, that is the next step, though, is this person is greeting you, sitting there with their hat low. They know you're right there. They're waiting for you to make up your mind to take some steps because you're at the ground floor of this intellectual enterprise. Now, it don't matter if there is no more floors up above this situation. You are at the ground floor. And anything else that happens really will be determined by how you interact with this individual right there. Ak Joe is his name. Brother Joe. Upon a small stone. Some call him Peter, but really he's Ak Joe. And I'm not talking about the characters from the Bible right now. I'm talking about a living, breathing being. The same way you can see me looking at you, breathing and talking. If I wanted to reach out to Ak Joe right now, I could. If I wanted to reach out to him and say, hey, all right, you posted up, let's go. You walked into this building and you met Ak Joe. Now, why is that important? Well, you see, Highest Heights Studio is ran by a sole proprietor, Angelic Discipline. Now, this is an umbrella that covers other companies, organizations, and groups who wish to provide services and products within the standards of Yahweh Elohim. One of those groups, one of those companies, one of those organizations is called Ground Floor Intellect. What's your intellectual properties? What are your intellectual properties? If someone comes to you and makes a comment, and you may have taken a certain kind of stance off of that comment, are you eager to be angry? Are you eager to resolve it? Are you eager to just let it stop and just ignore like anything happened? Are you eager to make a joke about it? Are you eager to turn the question around or the statement around and not send it back maliciously? You turn it around and you speak backwards towards them, not backwards, but back towards them, and you maintain a conversation. I hear what you're saying. This is how I feel about what you are saying. That's called people skills. The same way when you meet somebody and they say, hi, my name is, and then you say, hi, your name is, my name is. People skills. So then when a person starts talking with you, you listen, and you say, okay, you're talking about so-and-so. This is what I know about so-and-so. Is it the same? Yeah, it meets here, it meets there. Como si, como sa. Joe is a real live person. Joe likes DRI. Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. That's how Joe and I became brothers, because I like DRI. Who am I? DRI. We're Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. See, you wouldn't know it, but that's the kind of music that I play on the guitar anyway. It's the kind of music that the drummer that's in my band plays. Because sometimes I'm the drummer. And the drummer does this. I'm not the best drummer in the world. Not the best guitarist. I'm a musician. I'm not going to say I'm the best musician in the world. I am the best at it when I am being me doing it. Now, depending on what your talents are and your skills and the things that you want to apply, Joe's going to tell you, well, we got 10 special interest groups. Let's see if you'll fit one of those, and even if you don't, maybe we can develop a whole nother one. Because I want to go back over here and sit down and listen to my favorite song. So you let me know what it is that you do. I'm going to send you on your way. Who knows about giving an elevator speech? You've got exactly 5 minutes to tell somebody what it is that you do. And that's because, as they say, most people's span of attention is 1 minute to 3 minutes. I beg to differ on that. As a matter of fact, I will press a person to go beyond those 3 minutes. I'll allow you to talk and interject and everything else, because really that's still part of the minutes. It's not about me just saying, hey, I gotta say this, I gotta say this, I gotta say this. No, I want you to say something back towards me so that we are carrying on a conversation that lets me know that you're hearing what I'm saying. Because even if you talk to somebody for a minute, they may have only retained 1/10 of what you said in that minute. That means that they were open to 6 seconds of information. And not necessarily 6 seconds all lined up together. You got your handy dandy notebooks and your pens out? Are you paying attention to what's going on here? Because whether there's floors or not to this particular building, Joe's gonna send you on his way, on your way, so he can go on about his way, which is holding down the fort. At ground floor intellect. You ever heard of a snarky attitude? You have a conversation with somebody, and for some reason it seems like every now and then it's either a punchline or something that came from a comic book panel. But really it's stuff that you've never really heard of before. And every time you speak with this person, now they're not sending you away feeling dark and down. You're actually feeling enlightened but they were snarky with you the whole time. What's up? The sky. Or you just walked in this room. What's up? The ceiling. We're gonna start simple, okay? That's what you would get from Joe. Number one, if you walk in and he got his head down and he listening to his music, and you want to walk in asking about some what's up, the ceiling, and he's gonna put his head right back down listening to that music until you say something that makes sense. Well, I'm here to do so and so, and I need to meet so and so. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. You ever walked into a building and when you requested to speak with a person about a situation, you ever walk into the building and then the person who meets you says, we will have somebody come to you and meet you shortly. Please wait. And it shouldn't be very long. He's not going to tell you to go on the elevator and go to the second floor, 9th, 10th floor. No. He's not going to tell you to go down this wing over here or that wing over there. Nope. You stated your purpose. One moment, please. I think Joe knows a little bit of Spanish. Un momento, por favor. I think he might even be Italiano. I think he's got some Italian in him, and he might know just a little bit of Italian. I ain't sure. Un momento. Now, when that person shows up, they're going to tell you, walk with me, talk with me. This is that elevator conversation right here. You ever go into a building, you do got to ride the elevator, you get on the elevator, somebody else does, you hit the button, you're going to a certain floor, they're going to a certain floor, the elevator goes up. Both of you are standing there looking at the door, shoulder to shoulder. Or maybe you decide to stand on one side and they're standing on the other and you're on opposite walls looking at each other, possibly, and you acknowledge each other. And then all of a sudden the elevator stops in between floors. It doesn't look like it's going to budge for a second. Now you could panic or you could maintain. Are you a regular in this building? Have you been here before? Now this is a question I'm asking you specifically. Because the other person in the elevator is eventually going to ask you that. Because they may not be a regular person. Now, in this situation where, yes, you came to see someone specifically, and they did specifically come to you and say, walk with me, talk with me. Yes, you're in the elevator with them. But I'm saying, have you ever walked into a building and you had whatever you had going on and got on an elevator and then somebody else did and y'all went up in the elevator? The elevator stops. Person looks at you and says, I don't know if you're familiar or not, but something about you. Can you tell me about yourself? You have 300 seconds or less. That person isn't telling you that. You got 300 seconds or less. Because after that, the both of you are going to be wondering what's going on with this elevator. And yeah, you are going to start ringing some buttons and trying to get somebody's attention because you're stuck in a box. A real box. That trucker, I see you, Ak. It's very tabah to have you here. Hashem Yahab Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. Goes out for everyone, and of course, for family. Very tabah to have you here. So do you know the 5-minute conversation? Are you prepared to tell someone I am focused on my occupation because I have a sense of purpose. What's your occupation? What's your sense of purpose? Well, I do have this synopsis, this piece of paper right here that shortly describes who I am and what I do. They call it a resume. Oh yeah? Well, okay. Well, that describes what you do. Do you have a plan that shows that you're the one that's executing the stuff? Where you're actually the one maintaining control of the situation? Oh, my business proposal? Oh yeah, I got that too. But this is one page. This is about 7 pages over here. I got them both. Now we're getting somewhere. Because now you can tell me what it is that you would do, whether it was mentally, figuratively, or physically. You can tell me that. You can show me that. Please speak on. I'd like to hear all about it. So you're in this elevator with this other person, and y'all are engaging in conversation. Matter of fact, there's some things you might be telling that person, and then they say, oh, well, hold on, there's something else that I do that kind of coincides with that. I like where this is going. Please tell me more. The elevator starts moving again. That person gets off on the floor that they were getting off of, and you keep going. You get off on the floor that you're trying to go and visit. When that person gets off the elevator, there's an opportunity there for them to have knowledge, to be intimate with what it is that you do. When they step off that elevator, they know how to contact you when they need that service. They know you are that person that actually provides that. And you had to do that in about 300 seconds or less. Hold on a second. How long we been on? Oh, okay, we've been on for 57 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm getting the power buff in TikTok land. Shout out for those who are doing their best to not buff their brain unless it's buffering because you're uploading or downloading some information. Don't get smooth brain syndrome where you are waxing those synapses with a certain cream. It takes a certain brother to tell you all about it. And I would tell you, go visit the Mad Trucker. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him in TikTok. He'll tell you all about smooth brain syndrome. All of us have suffered from it in some way, some form, or fashion. All of us. Now, whoever the person may be, it's up to you to whether or not you address it and get rid of it. It's a voluntary thing. If you refuse to do so, yes, it could be quite fatal, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Now, it takes Mad Trucker to tell you everything about it. And I'm going to leave that to him. That's him. You see, I spent some time in the elevator with him. Is that fair? Yeah, I spent some time in the elevator with him. Proco by Dank. How am I to propel myself forward in life when I'm weighed down by pulsatile tinnitus and single-sided deafness? I want to be better. Okay. Pulsatile tinnitus and single-sided deafness are pretty much somewhat the same. You got that ringing in your ear, and then you really can't hear anything else, so it'll be termed deaf. You have a longing in your heart to express yourself. Your heart, your love. And I'm not talking about it's a little deeper than that. Your compassion, your love. Your love drives you to do your standards. So you can tell the story of what it's like to go through life with that certain condition, the things that you are doing and searching for to overcome it. My younger brother has tinnitus in one of his ears. That's how I know about it. There are times when I'm walking down the street or just going along, going from room to room, and I'm sensitive to the frequencies of electricity. And there's a buzzing in my ear that won't go away. A person could be having a conversation with me, and all I can hear is this buzz coming from the frequency of the electricity. I'm getting a warning from TikTok land saying that they haven't detected any activity. I'm here to let you all know something. I'm not here for TikTok land. I'm not here for YouTube land. I'm here for you. If TikTok decides they want to play shenanigans, I suggest that you come over to this YouTube channel, Angelic Discipline, same handle. Because to be honest with you, there is another place that we will be assembling those who actually have their handy dandy notebooks out right now and they're trying to fight against smooth brain syndrome. You will be invited when you come to me and you say, hey, you know what? I do have some skills that I would like to apply. All you gotta do is contact me. You can contact me in the DMs over here in TikTok land. You can contact me over here in the DMs in YouTube land and any other place that I actually post these links. Because there are other places. We're rocking and rolling. We're traveling, visiting, and casting nets. Today is Ground Floor Intellect Day. We've been on for an hour. We're just now 17 minutes past the top of the first hour. So, if it does decide to shut down over on this side, I'll reopen it. And then if it keeps on shutting down, we're just going to keep on resuming the regularly scheduled program. If you don't know about a place called Discord, I'm telling you right now, go find that app. Because that's the next place where you'll be able to find me. However, everything that I've just listed off basically is Web 2. Discord is a little bit different because it is encrypted, it's secured, and it's decentralized. So it is stepping into Web 3. That's where you're going to find me. Not Web 2. You're going to find my content in Web 2. You're going to find contact with me in Web 3. Counting down 18 seconds. T minus 15. Selah. Let's see here. Well, man, you have been speaking, and I appreciate you doing so. Since it didn't fade out, I'm going to take a moment to acknowledge all the stuff that has been said in the comments, then we're going to pick back up, right? Because we've walked into the ground floor. Highest Heights Studio doesn't stand alone. I'm the sole proprietor of Highest Heights Studio. However, there it went. There it went. Did say I would go for a second round. Just give me one moment. You gotta stick with your words. Now here's the funny thing, it's typing in what it was I wanted to say. Preemptive. Shalom, Mark. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. Ta-da. Now it is back open on TikTok. It did just like I thought it was going to do. It broke down and it reopened after I told it to. However, you see, we were having some technical difficulties yesterday. That's the whole point and why I've been telling everyone this whole time. You're holding on to something that's holding you down and holding you back. If we spend our time questioning, well, how come all of this is put in our face? Well, that's because you went to your neighbor's house and you had to watch what they wanted to put on TV. You got your handy dandy notebooks and your pens? Because, yeah, it just started back up and it's already acting silly. Otis Matthew 69, Hashem Yahweh, Elohim, Shalom Barak, Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I see you. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. Pro Kobe Dank, I feel like I got smooth brain and verbal communication. My thoughts are of a higher frequency than what I utter. You know what? They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And sometimes the words that we use don't come across correctly. Or I won't say correctly. Sometimes the sender and the receiver aren't on the same frequency, right? Like you're saying. Words themselves have specific definitions and meanings. And then there are the emotions that go along with it, because every sound has a frequency. Every light emission has a frequency. And every living body has a heat registry, which is yet another frequency. So when you put all that together and you've actually got a mind, body, and a soul that's trying to communicate something, well, all of those frequencies are firing at the same time. Sometimes it's very beneficial if we can just go here. This is a picture of what I'm trying to say to you. What do you see in this picture? What do you see in this picture? If the words that are coming out of my mouth aren't coming across, what do you see in this picture? Let's see if we can work something out from that. And then not only that, here's the picture. And then I put a few words in there too, where you can see them and read them. What do these characters mean to you? Because that's the thing. In certain languages, linguistics, in certain tongues, each character not just represents a sound, it does represent a state of being. It has a story attached to it. It means something. Each character. So when you say the character, when you pronounce the character, you are producing a vibration within itself. And if a person sees that character and they recognize it, then that vibration is still felt, because now the mentals are on the same page. They're always trying to tell us what we can and what we can't do. There's nothing stopping you from finding a way to communicate. They'll tell you how you can and you can't communicate. And then that's when you stop and you think about it. I went to my neighbor's house and they told me how to talk on the telephone while I'm using their telephone. Came to my neighbor's house and I sat down on the couch, but they told me, well, these are the packages that I have for the channels that you can watch on this television. Oh, but my favorite show, no, we don't have that. And if you want that, you can go back to where you came from, where it was, or you can go find it somewhere else because we have this. Now you can keep lily pad jumping to all these different places that's going to tell you, well, we're just a lily pad. You know, you got this whole pond in front of you. We're just a lily pad. Well, how come you don't have... We're just a lily pad. A platform. Your best endeavor would be to go and build your own platform, to be honest with you. How do I do that? You need a website. When you walk into Ground Floor Intellect and you're met by Akh Joe and you tell him that you have a website, at the same time that he's telling you, okay, I'm about to send somebody to talk with you, he's already sent across the network what your website is. So when that person comes to see you, now you don't even got to hand them that piece of paper talking about what your resume is. You really don't even have to hand them your business proposal because that's supposed to be on your website. These are things that you can do. When you feel like you are having trouble communicating with other people or they're not relating with you, what you do is you build your foundation. That way, when they're standing in front of you and it's not coming across correctly, okay, you can go over here at your own convenience and check this out. And then if you got some questions, you can always come back. Or you can send in those questions right there. Akol, very tava to have you here. Chokma Shloma is in the building. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, your circle. That goes for you and everybody else who is here at the party. I thank you all. Very important party. Shalom, my brother. My thoughts are smarter than the words I try to find to be as close to my thought. Great. Are you computer savvy? Do you use apps? I know that people keep telling you using AI generated art is bad, or some people might say use some AI generated art. It's great. Okay, I tell you what. There's an app called Night Cafe Studio. It's an app and it's also a website. I suggest you go to the website first. Night Cafe Studio. You will have the option there whether or not you want to download the app. What I'm saying is go to Night Cafe Studio and interact with it. I am an artist. I'm a graphic illustrator that can take a pen and a piece of paper, and whether I want to write out a bunch of text or if I want to move some lines around, a picture will be worth 1,000 words when I'm finished with it. Halaya, alhamdulillah, subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am an artist telling you. Go to Night Cafe Studio. Interact with what is there. And you can type in a few words. No matter how elevated you think your thoughts are. Type in a few words, tell the computer what you want it to actually render, and then when the picture pops up, you can decide whether or not you like it. If you want to use something else, use it a few times so you can direct it to do what you want it to do. I'm not going to tell you that every picture that you try is going to be free. What I'm going to tell you is this. They will give you points for you to use. And the more that you interact with the site, they're going to tell you, here's some badges that you can earn so that you can actually get more points so that you can keep interacting with the site. You don't have to pay to play. This goes for anything that you want to do in life. One of the biggest issues that an entrepreneur will have is overhead cost. What does it cost to run this enterprise? Because I can't tell you what my profit is until I've paid off all the cost. Ethics in entrepreneurship. Because my standard is, whether I took a loss or not, I'm not going to fudge it and act like it didn't happen. I'm going to work with a budget. And this is what my budget says I can do. And since that's the case, I'm going to go to my handy dandy search engine because I want to find out how can I blank for free. Now the issue is most people are standing on the wrong standard, so when they're looking up how can I blank for free, they're looking for something that's outside the dean. I'm talking about how can I blank for free and stay on the dean. So I'm going to go to Night Cafe Studio and start generating a few pictures that will demonstrate what's going on in my mind so that I can share it out to people. And the thing is, Night Cafe Studio is directly linked with Facebook because they have a profile there. It's directly linked with Twitter. It's directly linked with Instagram. It's directly linked with YouTube, TikTok. You heard of Reddit? You've got a web page, Wix, WordPress, Squarespace. So if you walk into Ground Floor Intellect and you tell Joe, this is my web link, Joe knows that the second that he sends that into the network, anybody that wants to know your portfolio will be able to find it. So it's great that you came in there with that piece of paper, that's your resume, and then this other 7 pages, that's your business proposal, because now you are showing proof of who you are. Notice, Joe didn't ask you anything about what's your ID. Let me see your ID. You just walked into this building. You have identified yourself. Now we need to know, you need to identify your occupation and your purpose. Words are frequency. Communication requires the correct frequency. Clarification of our semantics is the only way to communicate in a conversation. Mad Trucker Khan. Natalia Robertson. I think I saw you here yesterday. Hashem Yahavalahim Shalom Abarak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. Ill Man, saw you yesterday. Or Lil Man. Pamela Evans. Hold on. All them likes and loves. I'm trying to see who's here. User 523442198. Don Hussein. Familiar name. Yolanda Hughes. www.. marchaco.com. Familiar name. We're at the hour and 20-minute mark. Halfway through this hour. Got about 26 more minutes. By the time you walk outside of Highest Heights Studio after interacting with everybody, one of two things will have happened. Andrea Coleman, Hashem Yahavalahim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. By the time you have interacted with people inside of Highest Heights Studio and you're on your way out, one of two things will have happened. One, you will have decided within yourself, this is not for me. Or two, they told me I could work from home. And all these things that I wanted to do, they were thanking me and welcoming me and saying, anything you need, we got you. Resources wise, promotions wise, clients. Now, how is that? Because if you've made it to that second level, and they did tell you, yeah, you can go on back home now, you're all right, and you can work from home. If you've made it to that level, it's because somebody in that building passed the memo around. We have another individual who is part of STOP, Sustenance, Textiles, Occupations, Purpose. A real group that's part of Highest Heights Studio. Yesterday we were talking about SOC. Members in SOC who are active, and I'm not talking about, oh, I actively say stuff about SOC. No. That's not it. That is not the way. How about you actively promote what you do and you represent other people who have activities in SOC? So then when you do actively promote SOC, you're showing what you do and what they do because you work interdependently. That is the way. Stock program, sustenance, textiles, occupations, purpose. You know, if we were taking care of our own sustenance and we were providing our own textiles and we stayed focused on our occupations, we would be moving forward with some purpose. For all of you that are standing around scratching your head, asking, well, what are we supposed to do? And how are we supposed to do it? You just received a call to action. You know how you can contact me. I have a profile on TikTok. I have a profile on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WordPress. I've got profiles in places on platforms you never heard of. Cassandra Love, Joe Wayside. Now that's not the same Akajo that I'm talking about. I know that name is familiar though. Joe Wayside. Hashem Yahavalahim. Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. There's a difference between someone telling you Hey, I see you have potential. Let me grab up that potential, go over here and invest in something, and then turn around and show you what I was able to grow from using what you got. There's a big difference with someone telling you that compared to, I see your potential. Stay active. Here's some people that you can work with. Let's grow together. I received a DM here today. Had a short conversation. It was short because we were not speaking the same language. We did not have the same standards. People run around talking about I keep receipts. It don't matter if it's a receipt from a store or if it came from a conversation that I'm having with somebody. I keep receipts. I have to. Because when I make an exchange with someone and we have an agreement, that's what I have to stand with. I don't necessarily do a contract. I do agreements. Meaning you say something, I say something, we are in concordance, so we do agree. Shall that be done unto me? And you say, shall that be done unto you? Amen. That's how it works with me. So there was a person that had come to my DMs and started the conversation a certain way, and then it turned. And I'm still going to be me until it came to the point where I had to tell them, please stop. I want you to catch that. Before you say anything else, I need for you to go find out what my foundation is before you try to say anything else to me. Because this is turning very disheartening. There is nothing outside of the deen that is righteous except for someone who returned back to the deen in righteousness. Nothing outside of the deen is worthy. Write that down in your handy dandy notebooks. Got 18 minutes. Nikki Noo. Your name looks familiar. Michael Dorsey, your name looks familiar too. Hashem Yahab Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You can find me on Discord. It's a different name. 3PROJH. 3P Roj. 3PROJH. 3P. Plan, produce, peace. ROJH. Wind, soul, spirit. What some would call Ruach or Ravach. Or if you happen to speak French, Roche, rock. Well, this rock is a small stone. That's all it takes. Because that's the beginning, that is the foundation, that's the corner. And if you find stones like it, you have a basis. PROJH. When I express myself with lyrics and graphic art, that's the signature you will see. When I express myself with sounds and instruments, DJ Microwave 5,000 watts. At any and all capacities, I am angelic discipline. I am a messenger who is a disciple. Deepak. It's a familiar name. It's very tabah to have you here. Dripak, I'm sorry. Dripak. Hashem Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If there was anybody in the back that didn't catch what's really going on, we are walking with the standards of Yahweh Elohim. We gain wisdom through the guidance of Ravak HaKodesh. Our movements every day have already been shown to us through the example of Yahashivai HaMashiach. If you have any questions, we already have a guideline. There's the Bible, the Torah. There's the Apocrypha, which shows you a whole lot more than, 66 books? Bible, Apocrypha, Torah. Quran, which is a companion to all of that. It's not a replacement. It's not a separate thing. The Quran's going to tell you the same story about Yusuf, Joseph, the same story. It's going to tell you the same story about Yunus, Jonah. Same story about Nuh, Noah. Same stories about Abraham, Musa, Moses, Yahshua, Ibn Maryam, son of Maryam, Yahya, Yahavada. That's Yahshua's cousin. See, he was given a specific name. No one else had ever had that name before. Yahya. That's Yahshua's cousin. That wild man spent his time in the woods. Said, I don't know if I'm the one that is supposed to go through the water ceremony with you. I don't know if is that upon me? Is that my authority to wash you? That's Yahya asking his cousin, am I worthy for that? And his cousin said, you are exactly the person that I need. There is no one that can do that except you. No one has taken those steps that you've been taking. No one studied and then turned around and said, this is the way. I need you. You see, that's in the Quran too. Yahya's father's name was Zechariah. Zechariah is Miriam's uncle. Zechariah was a priest in the temple looking over Miriam while she was growing up, learning, and going about her duties in the temple, because Miriam, the mother of Yahashua, had been dedicated to the temple. And her uncle was watching over her to make sure that nobody else would try to corrupt her. And when he saw how things were happening with her, he thought to himself, I pray to have a child that I could dedicate to the temple. Why? Because he walked up on his niece and he said, I noticed that everything's always provided for you. She responded, Yahweh always provides. Alhamdulillah. All praises. And so he was like, I agree. So be it, Ashe. So as he walked away from that exchange, he said, if I had a child, I want to be able to dedicate my child to the temple. And he was answered. The thing was, he was thinking to himself, I'm too old, and I don't think my wife can bear a child anymore. So he was answered. Oh yes, you can have a child. And yes, you can dedicate your child to the temple. All of these things are going to happen. Here's the catch. You are not going to be able to vocalize anything for the next 3 days. All you're going to be able to do is use hand gestures to let people know what you're trying to say. And then right after that, Zechariah had to go and use hand gestures because he could not tell the people the prayer that he had just made, and that he couldn't tell people that he couldn't speak. He had to use gestures. Khalaya. Allahu Akbar. Now, this name Mariam had been heard before. As a matter of fact, the other Mariam, both of them were daughters of a person called Imran. And it's not the same person. You see, Imran also means Sharif. You know what a Sharif is? It's a title you're familiar with. Yashava ibn Maryam was the grandson of Sharif. Now, if you backtrack a little bit, it's another one. His name is Musa. Allahu alayhi wa salam. All peace. Our Father's peace be upon him. All prophets before him, all prophets after him. Because I've been naming them off this whole time. Our Father's peace be upon all of them. Musa had a sister named Mariam. Mariam's father, his name was Imran. There's a surah in the Quran called Imran. Guess what it's about? There's a surah in the Quran called Maryam. Guess what it's about? There's a surah called Yunus. Guess what it's about? Study and show yourself approved. Pastor Don Houston is in the building. Very glad to have you here. Hashem Yahav Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. Ernell Willis. Hashem Yahav Alahim Shalom Barak. Allahu Akbar. Thank you for the follow. Our Father is the greatest. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your family, and your circle. So, do we have it established on what we use for our standards? My love, very much respect. Yahweh, our Father is love. Many much love and respect to you too. Are we solid on what the standard is? Don't forget about mama. What are you talking about? Y'all's daughter, I see you. Hashem Yahav Alahim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. Speaking about the Heavenly Mother, I haven't been told that there's a Heavenly Mother. Not in my studies. There's our Creator, and then He gave faculties to Ruach HaKodesh to guide us, and then He also gave faculties to Yahushua HaMashiach. I don't know anything about the fruit of the Spirit. Not on what you're talking about. Got a certain standard. Now, if you want to tell me where I can find that in the Apocrypha, I won't even limit it to the Bible. Tell me where I can find that in the Apocrypha. Because even from reading in the Quran, it's going to tell me, I proclaim faith in worship in only our Creator. I make sure that I establish regular prayers every day in worship and resolution of service to Yahweh Elohim. I actually do fast. Now, I fast intermittently just like Davad did. And it's not because I wanted to do it because it looks cool. No, my body makes me fast. See that? And then there's observing the Injil, which is recognizing the lineage of the people who walked within the standard. Now, there's one other that most people will tell you that you're supposed to do. And let me break something down for you. If you decide you want to make a pilgrimage, the best thing you can do is acknowledge your personal jihad, your ijtihad, your personal struggle with making the choice of living on the righteous path. If you're going to make a pilgrimage, you turn your every step into walking towards our Creator. Because every time we take one step, there's 1,000 steps that are taken towards us. We're that far away. How many steps do you take in a day? How many steps would you take in your life if you're going to maintain that many steps, right? One of my devices needed some juice. Where are we at? We're at the hour and 42 mark. We're actually coming up on the top of the hour. So that lined up all right. Ernell Willis, you're going off on a tangent that has nothing to do with anything that is actually in the Torah, the Apocrypha, or the Quran. That's against standard. Because you're still trying to equate human sexuality or the flora and fauna that happens for physical reproduction on the planet where we live. You see, Yahweh Elohim is Lord over all worlds and realms. Therefore, there is no need for Yahweh Elohim to have to reproduce the same way that you see. That's not a faculty that's necessary from the Emerald Throne. I need to go on and let this one, I'm trying not to cause a pun right here. I'm setting up something, trying to make sure it doesn't fall. Okay, here we go. I'll say this, and I'm closing out. There are a lot of differences between Yahweh Elohim and a deity. There's a screenplay that came to my mind back when I was 17 years old. And it's an ongoing series. Nothing like anything you've ever seen before. And the reason why is because most of the screenplays that you have seen, they still support Babylon. This one does not support Babylon at all. Nope, nope, nope. This screenplay tells you exactly why Babylon is crumbling. There's a reason why you can't equate the name, the Shem, Yahweh Elohim, with the term God. Yahweh Elohim does not get cancer. However, here's your title. God has cancer. Did he say that? Yes, I did. You see, if you chip that marble statue the wrong way, it gets eroded away. And now whatever you were trying to do, it's not the same. Because you chipped off a piece. When that wood starts to decay, when a person's mind rots away and whatever it was they was thinking about, whatever they had in their imagination, God has cancer. Yahweh Elohim can cure cancer. Walking with Yahweh Elohim, if somebody told you they discovered it in your body, it can go away just as quickly as they told you they found it. Because sometimes it might be the truth and sometimes it might be a lie. However, walking the halal path, the only time you see a lie is when somebody is trying to present one to you. Are we clear? People tell me that I should write a book. Oh, I've got several books under my belt. And they're not just mine. They're not mine at all. I'm a vessel. And I have partners who've been working with me. So when it comes to trying to express yourself, there are many ways that you can. It's your choice which avenue you choose to do so. And it's best to try to find a way to get your point across to where you don't feel like you're above anybody. None of us are above anyone. There is only one position that we have in the kingdom of Yahweh Elohim, and that's servant. None of us are above the other. Your intelligence is not above the next person if you can't get your point across. I'm not doing a pot shot at anybody who's been talking back and forth with me. I'm telling you that's the reason why I respond and speak the way that I do. I could sit here and say 14-letter words to you all day. However, is that going to fix anything? Is that really going to make it to where you understand the words coming out of my mouth? So yes, there is a screenplay. It's called God Has Cancer. I wrote my first book when I was 19. It's called Delusions of a Black Knight. Started when I was 17 on that book. That's when I published it. And I didn't send it off to a publisher. I did that after the fact. I published my manuscript, 10 copies. 5 copies went off to some other publishers. 10 Bam, familiar name. Shabbos Fundamentals, familiar name. I see you. Teresa, 19625. I see you. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Al-Barak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon all of you. Thank you for coming to the party. Teda, shukran, spasibo. Gracias. Grazie, grazie. Y'all seen that little heart? That's what that means in Korean. Love. Thank you. Are we clear on the foundation? We've gone through 5 of the 10 special interest groups this week. Tomorrow, most people consider the Sabbath. So I don't do live broadcast on the Sabbath. There's plenty of people that are going to have messages. Let them speak. I'll have my notebook and pen out. On a daily basis, I keep a notebook and a pen nearby on a daily basis. Because no one is too tabah to not learn. So I keep a notebook and pen all the time. No broadcast from me as far as a live is concerned. However, yeah, you might see me upload some content. They say on the Sabbath you're supposed to rest and not work. And then I've seen it say you're supposed to rest in your work. However, the way you want to look at it. I'm usually at rest no matter what. Now, there's times where I might have a little bit of torment and turmoil going on, and I'm resolving the issue. I become at rest in my work, even going through the turmoil, because I am applying Yahweh Elohim's standards to resolve the issue. That's how I'm able to say that I walk with Malachi Zadok. Because it's an everyday thing, an every moment thing. Anytime I step outside of it, I get reminded real quick. Nope, no. Consequences can be tabah just as much as they can be negative. They can be lawful just as much as they can be haram. I like the halal consequences, the holy ones, the righteous ones, righteous consequences. Here I come. I'm running to them. Anybody ever want to find out where am I? Here am I. Go find out where that quote comes from. Then you'll understand how it is to walk as Melchizedek. We're at the top of the hour. I'm going to shut this transmission down. Yahweh Ahaba, our Father, our Creator, is love. Ahaba, Ahaba, love is love. If you see someone out there in need, don't wait for them to ask you for help. Go help them. Don't wait for them to respond with a thank you. We're not in it for that. You help them and you move on. Unless they stop you and say, let's communicate. That's called compassion. That's ultimate compassion. Yahweh Ahaba is complete compassion. Hashtag kindness is contagious. Go out there and find someone and be the reason why they got a smile on their face. Stop and go help someone. No matter what it is. Large task, small task, whatever the case may be. Assist someone else. Aside from your own personal ego and pursuits. Go help somebody else. Find out the fact that you have a certain talent and skill that can help somebody else, and it was no sweat off your brow. You didn't hardly even feel the effort coming. However, it was exactly what they needed. Change their whole day. Go out and do that. Make that a habit. Go be positive in somebody else's life. That is what brings positivity into your own life. Ame Taba, Ame Tofo. That is a way to say compassion in Chinese and Japanese. want to thank everyone for coming to the party. Adon willing, be back in 2 days, what they call Sunday. It'll be question and answer day. We have one more week, starting this next Sunday that's coming up. This Sunday coming up. It's going to start next week. Got Sunday all the way up to that Friday. We're going to do a Q&A on Sunday, and then we're going to discuss the other 5 special interest groups. Each of them is going to have their day up to Friday. After that, we're going to change up the format. Still going to have the same lineup for the schedule. However, we're going to change where the broadcast goes. It's not going to be 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time anymore. It's going to be 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. YouTube, TikTok, and whoever else I choose for the mainstream. And then from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing a focused group on Discord. Those of you who actually reach out to me, or I actually see your activity and we exchange communication, those of you who say, okay, yes, I want to apply my skills to an occupation, you will be invited to join in Discord if you haven't already been invited. And I'm telling you right now, if you're already in that Discord, I need to start seeing some products from you. That is not a place for you to just show up and sit there. And that is not a place for you to say, well, I don't know. No, apply yourself. Try it anyway. Do you think I walk into every room and I'm just a perfect specimen? You think I know everything everywhere I go? No, I've had to try and try and try and try again. And it just so happens that I have the compassion to come back and say, here, let me show you how to do it so you don't have to try 1,000 times. I have the compassion to tell you, I'm toting 2,000 pounds, and all I want you to do is pick up 2 pounds. Show me you can pick up 2 pounds and move it across the room and put it down safely. Show me you can do that. Selah. Meaning much love and respect. Until next time. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Al-Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon each and every one of you, your families, and your circles.